By using just this dashcam footage, as well as Google Maps, we're able to work out that the guy in this van is doing close to 100 kilometers an hour.
Man, that guy is a jerk.
And he's in a 60 kilometer speed zone. Fortunately, the cops got to him before a potential disaster could have happened. Using the calculations I'm about to show you, I reckon he would have lost his license here. When we first look at this video, all we can see is these two cars driving toward the bridge. The guy on the left is clearly going a lot faster than the guy on the right, which could mean the guy with the dash cam is going faster than he should be, or maybe the guy on the right is going slower than he should be. We don't know yet. Regardless, the guy in this van, he's going significantly faster than both of them. He's speeding. He had no idea the cops were sitting down the road, and I bet he wishes he wasn't speeding now. Now, while some dash cams give you a clear printout of your coordinates, as well as the speed that you're travelling at, the one in this guy's car doesn't. In other words, there's no real record of where he is or what speed he's doing. So I'm going to do a little bit of detective work to find out exactly.
Ooh.
So of course all I've got to go by is a couple of landmarks. They're on a bridge, there's some kind of iconic landmark on the right hand side there. Should be fairly easy to identify where this is. As I look further into the video, I see a clearly identifiable business. In this case, Kevin Joyce Pest Management. So I go to Google, I type in Kevin Joyce Pest Management, and I see that this business is at 827 Princess Highway in Tempe, New South Wales. So I click on Google Maps to see if this is the right location. So here I can see the pest management, which looks like it's just over the other side of a river, hence a bridge, and even the Ampol petrol station where the guy got pulled over by the cops. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is the right place, alright. So I look at the street view. This is definitely the place. Here's the bridge, here's the landmark, this is the place. It's obvious, it's the same location. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to measure the distance, the length of the bridge. So on Google Maps, I ask it to tell me how long the bridge is. And I can see that roughly the length of the bridge is about 120 meters or so. Now obviously this is a rough estimate, but it'll give us some kind of indication as to how fast this car was going. If we know that the bridge is 120 meters or thereabouts, all we need to do is time how long it takes for the car to travel that 120 meters. So in the case of the guy in the reference car with the dash cam, let's see how long it takes him to get across the bridge. Starting from here, we start the stopwatch, and we can see it took this car roughly about 6 seconds to cross the bridge from one side to the other. So now we just have to do some simple math. If you're driving in a car and it takes you 6 seconds to get across a 120 meter bridge, how fast were you going in kilometers per hour? So the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, how many meters per second are we traveling if we're doing 120 meters every 6 seconds? So that's simple. Take the 120, divide it by 6, and it gives us 20. Therefore, traveling across a 120 meter bridge in just 6 seconds means we must be driving at 20 meters per second. 20 times 6 seconds, 120 meters. So if we then take that number, 20 meters per second, and times it by 60 seconds to give us a minute, we're traveling at 1200 meters per minute, or 1.2 kilometers per minute. 1200 meters times 60 minutes to give us our 1 hour is 72,000. 72,000 is 72 kilometers per hour. That means we are going to travel 72,000 meters or 72 kilometers per hour. In other words, this car that took 6 seconds to get over a 120 meter bridge must be doing about 72 kilometers per hour, which is still over the speed limit because the speed limit in this area is 60 kilometers per hour. He's doing 72, and there's plenty of calculators on the web that you can do the same calculations. Take your 20 meters per second and it gives you 72 kilometers per hour. So I would think, knowing what we know now, it seems about right, because he's clearly going faster than the guy on the right. The guy on the right's probably doing 60 because it's a 60 kilometer an hour speed limit. If the guy on the left is going slightly faster, it would make sense. He's probably doing about 70 kilometers an hour. So what we really want to know is, If the guy in the car with the dash cam is doing 70 odd kilometers per hour, how fast is the guy in the van going? Because he's clearly going a lot faster than him. So using the same calculations, we're now going to work out how fast the guy in the van's going. So we'll put the stopwatch on again, but this time we'll time the guy in the van, how long it takes him to get over the 120 metre bridge. Again, rough estimate, it looks like it took this guy in the van only about 4.5 seconds to get across the same bridge. Now while it may not seem like a huge difference, 4.5 seconds versus 6 seconds to get over a 120 metre bridge, it's actually a massive difference in speed. Let's do the maths. So using our same logic, we can work out that a 120 metre bridge crossed in just 4.5 seconds. This guy's travelling at 26.6 metres per second. So he's getting that extra 6.6 metres every second over and above the guy with the dash camera. Using the same calculations, 26.6 times 60 to give us our minute is 1,596 metres per minute. Times that by 60 to give us our hour is 95.76 kilometres every hour. In other words, the guy in the van, who clearly got over this bridge in about 4.5 seconds, must be doing close to 96 kilometres an hour. In a 60 zone. I just double checked myself in the maths calculator. 26.6 metres per second is 95.76 or close to 96 kilometres per hour. So he wouldn't have been real excited to see the cop sitting over the other side of the bridge. Now I know this isn't an exact science and there's a lot of variables. The bridge could be longer or shorter than 120 metres. There may be some kind of variance with the radar gun. The cop may have clocked him earlier or later. There's so many variables. The bottom line is, in a 60 zone, if he's doing about 96 or thereabouts, it could literally be anywhere from 30 to 50 k's over the limit. Now here in Western Australia where I live, if he was doing more than 30 kilometres an hour but less than 40 over the limit, that's an $800 fine and 6 demerit points. If it was more than 40 kilometres an hour, I estimated 96, it could have been more than 100. I could have easily been out by 4 or 5 k's. Then here in WA, West Australia, it's a $1,200 fine and 7 points. But we know, looking at the map, that this took place in New South Wales. So we need to look at the New South Wales penalties to see how much this guy would have got fined. Ooh, it's actually worse. In New South Wales, if he was doing more than 30 k's an hour over the limit, which we think he was, he'd have got a $2,200 fine, $2,200, and lost his licence for 3 months. Now, if by chance he was clocked doing more than 45 kilometres per hour, which is 105 or more, which is a good probability that he could have been, he'd have got fined $3,300 and lost his licence for 6 months. Even in his best case scenario, he would have got fined about $2,200. But I'm leaning more toward somewhere between 30 and 45 k's over the limit. So I reckon he's lost his licence. But to be fair, it serves him right. He's clearly in a 60 kilometre an hour zone, and he clearly has no regard for the law or the speed limit. So he got what he deserved. This could have ended a lot worse. It's actually a good thing that the cops got to him before he did some real damage to property or lives. And hopefully he'll think twice before he speeds next time.